Yeah, and Akeem gave his complaints. I gave
don't-
mine. It
I don't
was
know if
mostly
this is-
like, why are the strikers dropping back again?
That's not my complaint. My complaint is, why is nobody using Metavision consistently?
It might be.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
It might be a case of
No,
because we know
that's not-
of it, we just have to assume that they're using it now.
Okay, but like, okay, this chapter specifically is a key point. So we see Aiku, right? Aiku doesn't have it when he's facing off with Onazi. He
Mhm.
doesn't. But then when we see him running for the ball, we see him use it.
Yeah.
So because they're showing it to us then, it's implying that he's using it then. But why would you would want to, if you showed it beforehand, like in the matchup of with Onazi, it would make sense. Oh, he still has it on, even if you don't draw it, because
Yeah.
the logic usually dictates. Oh, when you see it after that point for a consistent amount of time, or like for the general scope of the chapter, they're using it.
Yeah.
But my issue is, why are they not we have all of Blue Lock's Metavision users on this team, and so far, Isagi and Aiku are the only characters to be shown using it. Like, Isagi only had his. I'm pretty sure Isagi only had his Metavision in twice at the end of chapter 313 and in chapter 314.2. That's the only time we've seen him use Metavision. Aiku, same thing. We've only seen, but aside from this chapter, we've only seen him use it in 314.1. And both instances were after Nigeria lost the ball. I feel like he should be using it like at all times. Especially with Onazi. Like the two times Aiku matched up with Onazi and lost, he wasn't using Metavision. But as soon as they lose the ball, he starts using it. What?
If it was a thing where, because they bring this up in the NEL and they never bring it up again, but Metavision is supposed to be taxing, right? Like, am I crazy?
Yeah.
But
even then,
that's
you're
what I'm
telling.
curious.
But they went through the same. The 50 days after the NEL is the same amount of time as during the NEL, and they also had their own 2 weeks of specialized training in addition to 36 days of general training from Ego.
I think
you're telling me they just don't. They can't use it. Hiyori was using it 24% of the was using 100% of the time during the last match. Fucking Nico was using it for the majority of the Uber after he figured it out. The majority of the Ubers game. Isagi was using it for all of the Ubers game and PXG game. Karasu figured it out at the end of it. Aiku knows what it is now, and you're telling me in the 50 days post NEL. Isagi never mentioned, or Hiyori never mentioned, or Aiku or Nico never mentioned the concept of Metavision to Rayo or Karasu and then didn't train it?
I think it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, because Kaneshiro didn't establish many drawbacks, and when he did, he didn't follow up on it. He can kind of just get away with them not having it on all the time. And if I do bring it is no error, I agree. It's a plot hole. Like, they should have mentioned, they should have talked about it at least during the training.
Especially Karasu. Karasu and Hiyori are thick as thieves. They talk to each other all the time. They used to play with each other. And you're telling me, and the final matchup with each other was a Metavision versus Metavision. And you're telling me post game, Hiyori didn't mention, oh, I didn't know you could use Metavision. Never?
That is something that I want to see.
You're telling me that after Metavision was addressed by Isagi, Nico was never like, what exactly is this Metavision thing? Same with Aiku, who identified what it is, superhuman perception.
I feel like we need a chapter, like a flashback chapter to all the Metavision users talking, like maybe during training, like, hey, maybe we should all talk to each other and discuss like this whole thing, because they all play different positions. We have someone on defense. We have two people on defense with it, two people in the midfield with it. Wait, we only have one person on offense with it.
The thing with Metavision, right? The reason why I don't think we'll ever get that is because Metavision is obviously is created for this story, but it's created as a visual aid for us knowing that these players are analytical thinkers who scan the pitch.
So it's a visual aid.
It's a visual aid for us, the readers, to know that these players are analytical thinkers who scan the pitch and make decisions based on what they see.
So to us, we can see the pattern in their eye, but to them, they can't see it.
Yeah, because when you play football, there are different type of players on the football pitch. There are players who play on pure instinct, they couldn't recall to you what happened during the match because they play on pure instinct without
Geniuses.
thought process. And then there are players who think about every single touch, every single play that they make on the pitch. And so those are just the two different players are in the story. They've been shown as geniuses and talented learners, but it is a real thing where there are some players who literally they play on pure instinct. The ball comes, make a decision on the spot, and then there are other players who think ahead. But it's all visual aids for us to be able to know, okay, this is this type of player. He thinks like this,
He
and stuff like that.
he's like
But I don't think we'll ever get a moment where all of them are sat down talking about explaining the actual
That's
metavision.
that's the issue. That's the issue. And this is why I think it would have we would have benefited so much from just a small arc of Blue Lock versus Blue Lock. We saw a
friendly.
small
Yeah.
chapter. Yeah. Imagine there being a moment in the story where it's all the Metavision users on one team and Isagi talks to them
It,
and they're like, okay, I'm gonna explain to you what to do. And then the final page of the chapter shows like the Ubers panel where it was bottled with all the Ubers players running around. Imagine it's Isagi, but with every Metavision user running around
the,
behind him.
the
That would
That
training
would
be
have been
so
sick
the,
as
cool.
the training
fuck.
the training
Yes, it would.
the training arc. The thing with the 50-day training, I think Konashiro kind of like stabbed himself in the foot because he had Isagi go on his Europe tour, right? He comes back, and then we get one issue, like one chapter of it being like, oh yeah, this is what these guys were doing. Like like when Isagi was arguing with Karasu, that chapter,
Mhm.
right? We only get that, then we go straight to the U20 World Cup. I'm like, I think we needed at least 3 more.
Yeah, these
It
flashbacks
would
didn't
have
really
that would
serve
have
us
been
the
so
entire.
good for the Blue Lock versus Blue Lock thing. Isagi says that to Hiyori, Karasu jumps in, Aiku jumps in as well, and they have their little conversation. And Isagi explains like why he doesn't think Hiyori can keep up anymore. And he's like, "Oh, even with Metavision, Hiyori can keep up." Like, what the hell is Metavision? He explains it, and then he's like, "Wait, maybe if we're able to create a full team chemical reaction with Metavision users, maybe then we'll all be at the required like all be at this highest level." And that's what we're seeing in this game. Like they would have been able to do that in that game as a trial run, and then boom, it puts into practice in this game a full team Metavision user chemical reaction.
So
Give us that chance. It brings everyone
Emerald,
else to the highest level.
Yeah.
Emerald said Isagi says it's taxing during the end of the Manchan game, but no one ever gets over exhausted. The comment shouldn't what? The comment shouldn't have said that we should have seen more players look at least more tired. Yeah, the thing is, right?
See,
Isagi says it's
Yeah,
taxing,
it's
and then in Ubers, he has it on the whole game. So I don't
Well,
fucking know how this shit works,
well,
to
he
be
did
honest.
stamina
yeah.
training for a full 10 days between
yeah,
the games. He did for a full
Okay,
10
fair
days. And they also every
enough.
other Metavision user didn't have it on 24/7. The only time they consistently had it on was during the final rush with Bato and Snuffy, during those 3 minutes, and then it was during the final play with Isaki and Hiyori. That was the only time, like when they were working with them. Those were the only time they had Metavision fully active. And then in
That is
PXG, Hiyori was using it 24/7. Charles wasn't using it 24/7. He was switching between that and his other vision, and then Karasu awakened his at the very end.
see, that's the thing. I think we have to look at the more experienced players, the way they use it. So Snuffy, he's not constantly got it on. Kaiser, he's not constantly got it on. I think we got to use them as a reference to know how really it should be used once you're a little bit more proficient to it. And maybe the way Isagi was using it constantly was very yeah, what's the word for what's that word when wasteful? Uh, yeah, we'll say wasteful. Maybe he was using it very wasteful. No, I need the word
He,
for.
it gave. I feel like what you're looking for, and I don't know if this is correct. It gives Metavision less of the importance or the power, like the power it held when we got introduced to it in Manshine, because of like
No,
the
so
drain against it gave it such like, oh, it's so draining, but the benefits are so
yeah.
huge.
So the word I was looking for was efficient.
Yeah.
So I think the way they're using it now might be a more efficient way of using it that doesn't drain them as much as Isagi was drained the first time he used it.
But yeah, but even then, like Denelson Thomas says maybe it's redundant to use it against Nigeria because they're already putting belt to ass. But that's not a good excuse for not using Metavision. This is their first time on the world stage, right? This is their first time ever there, except for Sendo, Aiku, and Fukaku. This is the first time of any of these players on this stage ever, and they should be nervous, especially because the world has always regarded them as being dog shit. So they should be using everything in their arsenal to do this.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought like
I
maybe
think
in the beginning of the
more
game they'd be pulling out all the stops, you
negative.
know, all of them would be flashing their auras around and using all their abilities,
But
and then they realize, oh, Nigeria can't keep up, and then they start to slack off.
I want to address that comment when I get back.
but let's not forget what Isagi also said. He said at this rate they're not gonna improve themselves. They're not being challenged. So maybe they're using it as a training where they try not to use, you know, they try not to pull out their best attacks, and instead try and come up with new patterns, new formations, new attacks, new weapons, rather than using the ones that they already know can.
Yeah, if they rely on Metavision users too much in this tournament, I think first of all, the tournament will just become redundant and boring, from a narrative perspective, and then also just from like a character perspective. I don't think they'd want to stick with one tactic anyway. We've seen what one tactic does. Looks like Onazi's entire team just passed the ball to him, bro. Like, I feel like they need to find different ways to evolve, and they have. Like Rayo turning into Bachira and shit, the double Bachira press.
Yeah.
And I think something else, like I know this is like more of a meta reasoning instead of like something logical in the story, but I think it's just like we've seen Metavision, we've had it for quite a while, so it's not going to get shown every single time. Like the same way, like after you Super Saiyan for the arc, it doesn't have a big transformation every time they go Super Saiyan again. Or the Flow Eyes, when we had them in like U20 and we started seeing them there, it was like, okay, big thing, Flow Eyes. But then Kaiser pulls them out randomly for his bicycle kick. So I think it's just straight up, we've had it for a while, so it's not going to get shown every single time.
Yeah.
But I know that's not like a good in-universe reason.
I think also because this chapter is very exposition heavy, maybe the focus was never really on the like. I understand why it makes sense why they should activate it, but then this is also the same chapter that ran tracks all the way back in boxing. Like, and I don't know, there's a lot of inconsistencies and stuff anyway. So.
Yeah. See, Emerald, I agreed. I thought maybe they would be nervous at the beginning.
Yeah, they seem way too confident.
But the thing that made me think, wait, why would I think that, was because in the game against U20 match, I thought they'd be nervous in that game, but they wasn't nervous in that game either.
Isagi was nervous at the beginning, wasn't he?
Isagi was.
Yeah.
He was nervous at the beginning of the NEL, but they've all been through all that stuff. And I think like right now they don't have the nerves in them.
That's why France will give them the nerves next round. I tell that's the kids. Look, they're gonna be way after this game. They're gonna be on a high. They're gonna be way too overconfident, and then France gives them belt to us. That's the theory.
Exactly. It's the whole thing of building them up to knock them down.
Yeah.
Also, what's with this whole belt to ass comment? When do we start using that as an analogy?
It's just a saying that people say when someone's getting jumped.
Yeah. This match basically to scale how strong they are at base.
The flow states and egos are being saved for the better matches. Let the arc breathe a bit. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, that's true.
I think there's also like a smart tactical reason behind it, because like Aero said, it's their first time on the world stage. This is their first time proving themselves from, you know, the past Japan that was seen as, you know, I think it was literally not even second rate. So why would you go out and show all of your cards first? Just like, you know, you're talking about going on the world stage and, you know, pulling out all the stops and showing everything you've got. But why would you do that?
Why would you
taking
do that?
away that element of underestimation that you have from this poor narrative? So why not just keep your cards close to your chest, keep your main ability?
Well, to be fair, haven't they seen a lot of their moves during the NEL?
Well, I think
we also haven't seen the
if
training.
it was streamed, right?
Well, I mean, no, Nigeria, they know about Isagi and shit, so I think they did watch the NEL because they comment on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they comment on it, so they've seen his matches. They're aware of what he's
Yeah.
capable of.
People also didn't see the training arc.
That's
Yeah.
true.
But here's also a point I wanted to make is like I seen where is it? He said before this match is basically to discuss how strong they are in base. I feel like Metavision should be their new base. Like at the world stage, their standard should be using Metavision. And like I would be fine if they didn't show it for every panel, but for the first panel we see them do something, let us see them be using Metavision. Like when Hiyori passed to Rin, which is the only time we've seen them do anything this chapter. Show him with Metavision in his eye once.
I think
In this match.
I think it's gonna be hard for Connoisseur to also keep up with. I'm not trying to defend it, but I do think because if he already hasn't done anything this whole fucking game, I doubt he's gonna like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that this guy has Metavision on when I draw the panel, or like when I tell the artist to draw the panel. Like, he's not gonna. I think sometimes
Hiyori's passing is just that good. He can do that without Metavision. Simple as.
Yeah, but it's a matter of showing that that's the new base they're at is constantly using Metavision, which is what they should be doing.
They're at is
But
good enough to
why
stand on
should
the
they
world
be doing
stage
that?
without,
Because they're on the world stage. They should be asserting themselves by the base style, including Metavision.
First game in the group.
Or you keep your cards close to your chest, like I said before, and use them more effectively later on.
But we already made the point that they know about Metavision. They've already seen the NEL. So what? And remember, Metavision isn't like Metavision is like an outward ability.
To beat Nigeria.
Metavision isn't an outward ability. It's an analysis thing. It's reading the field in a way that they process information to predict the future. That's not a card you hold to your chest. It's something you play out immediately. You play out immediately that you can see everything and do everything off rip, because that should be your new base. If that's where you were in the PXG game, where using Metavision was required in that game to keep up with the level of play, that should be your new standard of base after another 50 days of training. Your new base should be, I need to use Metavision to keep up because this world-class vision is what is going to keep me playing on this world-class stage.
But
that should be the logic.
They don't need it to win in this game.
But we don't know that. But going into this game, they didn't know that. They should be using it 100% of the time. Us as fans had no idea how strong Nigeria was going to be going into this game. If anything, we thought they were going to be stronger, considering they were called the Kings of Africa.
But
people were hyping them up. So
but Japan did, though. That's the thing. Japan did. They did their homework on them.
Great. Nigeria did their homework on them too. But the point is,
Nigeria knew that it was going to be a tough game for them.
But the purpose is that going into this game, we had no information on them except that they were the Kings of Africa. So going into this, you should expect them.
Yeah, we didn't, but the Japan team, the Blue Lock did though.
I get that, but you shouldn't be like, these guys are so ass. We just shouldn't use Metavision. No, you're gonna wanna show what you got.
I genuinely think it might just be an oopsie on Connoisseur's part.
It's a huge.
But like
isn't there one person that has not turned Metavision on at all?
Rayo, Karasu, Yori, Nico. They have not turned Metavision on this game.
To be fair, Rayo
and Aiku have only done it twice.
To be fair, Rayo, I'm gonna let Rayo pass because he did the Bachira thing, and I think that was pretty cool.
True.
I'm gonna let him slide for that one, but Karasu has no excuse. I just think it's gonna be hard for him to like remember to do that every single time. He will, like, we have to. I do agree that it should be the new base, but
I don't know.
I think it's because it's the first game of the group stage. Like I don't know. Maybe they.
But what part of this makes you think that using a world-class technique shouldn't be the new base of the skills?
Because when we had Kaiser, when we had what's his name, Sai, when we had Snuffy, all Metavision users with way more experience than these guys on the pitch, they wasn't using it constantly.
Who?
Sai.
Sai doesn't have it.
That's Isagi's hype off.
We don't know. We don't know.
We don't
speculated,
know. Speculation.
Yeah, Raito just said more experienced Metavision.
But yeah,
Metavision users.
Isagi reckons Sai has it.
Kaiser, and I was like, wait a minute, Sai doesn't have Metavision.
Isagi reckons Sai has it.
He speculates, but it's touch and go.
He also speculated Lorenzo had it.
Yeah, it's touch and go.
Yeah, but but that's the thing. I do reckon these players do have it as well. And I think like because it's a weapon. It's not something that you need to be using constantly, especially when you're playing against those that you see as inferior.
I get that, but
Which is what Sai and what's the name Kaiser saw Blue Lockers as.
But they still used it. If you want to use the point that Sai was using Metavision, that would have implied he was using it for the entirety of the game against pre-NEL Blue Lockers. So
in the
he knows they're not good, but he's still doing it.
In the first game of Manshine versus Barcher, do you reckon Kaiser used Metavision in that game?
Yeah.
I think it's obvious he did, right?
Yeah.
Did we see him use it though?
No, because we didn't have confirmation as to what the ability is.
No,
that's a moot point.
We didn't, but we didn't. We also saw that Isagi had used it in the past. We saw IQ use it in the past.
Yeah, but it wasn't given a name. It wasn't given identification. Like
exactly.
we saw Kaiser use Predator Eye in Manshine before it was coined. That's not like
my point is, we still seen those being used without confirmation of what they are. So why is it only when Kaiser didn't use it that we can say that the reason why we didn't see him use it in that match was because we didn't have confirmation?
Because the whole point of that was we didn't have context as to what the ability was.
But we didn't have context when IQ used it. We didn't have context when Isagi used it before.
Because that's hinting towards what it is, hinting towards it as a concept. You're drilling, this is something. Then, multiple people have this. So it's not just an Isagi specific thing. And then you get into Kaiser where it's, oh my God, this is exactly what it is. That's the 3-hit point.
But that same argument can be used in this scenario that I'm talking about right now.
It can't.
You see?
No, it can't.
How can it not?
Because we've gotten to the point where Metavision is a fully established concept in the story.
No, I'm talking about that match, that particular match, where we know that Kaiser would have used Metavision to find that spot that he shot from, but we didn't see him using it, right?
Yeah.
But you said the reason why is because we didn't have context of Metavision.
We didn't have confirmation as to what the ability is. Like it didn't have a name or a full description as to what it is.
My rebuttal to that, to your explanation as to why, is that we didn't have context when Isagi used it before, when IQ used it before. We didn't have context those times as well.
Because adding Kaiser to that mix before Manshine pushes nothing for the story. In third selection, when Isagi used it, it's, oh, this is something new. In U20 game, when IQ used it, oh, this is something that isn't just exclusive to Isagi. In Barcha, if Kaiser were to get it, it would add nothing to the context as to what it is. But in Manshine, when it gets identified and established for Kaiser, it also gets the concept added to it. Because also in that same game, Isagi uses Metavision there. So he activates it again. So the third point, not even for Kaiser, but the third point of that game is that it's not a one-time thing. It can be reproduced, and that Isagi accessed it when tied into flow. That's what the key 3 points of Metavision were in those displays.
I don't think that kills the reason that's a valid reasoning for why we've been able to see it before and not see it when Kaiser done it. I reckon the reason why I reckon the reason why we didn't see it when Kaiser done it is because with the more experienced players, we don't need to see them do it. We should assume that they have it.
There's also a level.
Agreed.
Okay, but there's also a level to like the concept of this is just speculation. Do you know why we only see the new Generation 11 in Kaiser Sweat in the PXG game?
Mm-hmm.
The speculation leads to that is that they treat it like hockey in One Piece. So I don't want to spoil stuff for One Piece. I'll try and keep it brief. But in One Piece, pre-time skip, nobody can see hockey because we're following the Straw Hat crew as if we're a member of the Straw Hat crew.
Mm-hmm.
We can't see hockey because the level of the Straw Hats is not high enough to where they can detect hockey. After time skip, only then are we able to see hockey because the Straw Hats themselves can see hockey. In relation to Blue Locket scales, the Blue Lockers, the players were technically sweating, but they weren't sweating for our perspective because the Blue Lockers were not fighting on that level. It wasn't close. The bar wasn't close enough to see.
Where did you get that from, though?
It's general, like it makes okay. So you're gonna it's general. Again, I said this is speculation, but look at the Kaiser Impact bicycle kick. You're going to tell me that Kaiser wasn't trying to do that during that play? If Kaiser is gonna sweat from a single dribble run in the PXG game, he was 100% going to sweat from that play alone. But we don't see him sweat once. Doesn't it also seem a little bit weird that the only time we see Kaiser sweat is in the final game of the NEL, where Rain, Isagi, Bato, like these peak characters who we're following alongside are at that are close to new gens, are able to compete with them. That's the only it's speculation, but it's a decent description and understanding of that concept of relativity. It's also a psychological manga. Everything is psychological. Everything is key. Like everything has importance.
I get that speculation, but for me, the only thing that I can counter that with is that we see the beginning of every game that most of the time they won't be sweating, and they progressively sweat more progressively throughout the game. So for
the
me,
new gens.
No, just every player in general.
Currently we're at what, chapter 319, and not a lot of people are sweating.
Yeah, exactly, and that shows
Nigeria is sweating.
That shows to me the level of difficulty, because I call
it is sweating, you know, right now.
I call
Rain just started sweating.
Yeah,
So
I think Bello was too, wasn't he?
Nigeria, all of Nigeria is sweating. Blue Lock is
and Rin got dispossessed.
The moment Nigeria got the ball, Blue Lock started sweating.
Oh, that's another point. The moment that Nigeria decided to awaken and level up and started competing against Blue Lock on a closer, even level, did we finally start to see Blue Lock sweating?
Yeah, and that's what happened with the players.
Look at Rain and Sai in their matchup in chapter 149. Only at that, or not it was like 147 or something. I think it was 147. In 147, when Rain and Sai have their matchup, only once Rain is in his destroyer mode and is in his true flow state after he beats Sai, that is the only time we ever see Sai sweat, because the bar between these two characters has been closed.
And that's my point. That's the point.
Wait, I have something for Arrow. So about your example where you like related to hockey in One Piece, something I want to say is in like recent times, after we've had hockey shown all this time, we've had instances where characters have used hockey without the armament being shown.
Or they show it once. But the thing is, they show it once in the fight. They show it at the beginning of the fight. They show it at the beginning.
No, they don't. Not only at the beginning.
No, sometimes
they show it in moments, but in some random panels, it's not going to be shown.
They show it in specific moments in the display of a new technique, like Luffy's what was like the, I don't know if it was called White Star Gun or something like that, where he bops Kizaru on the dome. Which I think that's fair to talk about now because it's been out for over a year and it's already been animated.
Yeah,
the point of that is that every time a new technique is shown, then they'll show it again. But in this instance with Isagi and Aiku, they're using it in moments. Like Isagi's different because Isagi was actively using it involved in play. Aiku was only using it when he didn't have the ball, right? Yeah, but the other Blue Lockers in the 50 days of their training should have shown using it once. Like Rayo, when he first got the ball, show him activating it a single time, and then you're fine to never show it again, because you're at least establishing that after those 50 days, the level they're at now is able to use Metavision. Or I guess Rayo's a bad example because he could be subconscious.
The only
Karasu, Hiyori especially. Hiyori was able to use Metavision 100% of the time, same as Isagi. So he 100% should have been using it or shown using it.
But he should have. But like the thing is that it's really just you have to understand my intent when I'm saying this. It's really just kind of like throwaway moments right now. Like we haven't had like a big super focus on Hiyori or Nico, like the characters. Like his thing, even with like Nico's big focus moment, his focus moment was on his muscles. Like I get that showing it would be important, but I don't think it's really that important for those characters right now, because it's not like a significant thing that changes things.
Because you're still showing that now you're establishing 2 points. Yes, great. They've buffed up in these general areas, but the new level they're at is with world-class vision. That's where their bar is now. Their base of their skill, you want to show some real improvement, show that Metavision is the standard now to because it should be to compete on the world stage.
I think it
is.
So they should show it. So they should show it once. Show it once from every core blue locker who has
they
it.
should, but in general, it's not like a super big thing anymore. And I think that's why he hasn't
become
shown
a regular thing.
But
Like
it's just
when only Isagi and Hiyori have been shown to use it 100%. It's a nice bar.
I don't think you're supposed
to. Didn't they only use it for like however long the PXG game was, which is
PXG was like 37 minutes straight.
Yeah, which is only a third of a football game.
I don't think
I have a question.
Well, they were able to keep it on for 100% of that time is the difference, though. Like, sure, it's a shorter time, but it's a matter of we're not even seeing the other characters use it.
Because I don't think he's thinking of it being an important thing to show. Like the Black Scalera, we saw when Rin blocked his shot, blocked Kuso's shot. But like that type of whatever that thing means, I think is something the players are doing all the time.
It's very hinted off of reflex. So
that's what I thought as well. I thought it was like a reflexive play, and I would think that like Bacho's dribbles would be very reflex as well, like some other of the interceptions as well. But that's not shown. It's shown when the creator wants to. It doesn't really have a meaning anymore, which is annoying. I agree with you. It should be like a standard practice thing.
That's a plot point. That's a plot hole, and that's something to complain about, though. Like
I don't think it is, guys. Because I'm just thinking about when we saw more experienced players, in those same situations, we didn't need to see their metavisions to know that they were doing something different.
Denelson, why waste it on them? It's not something that has a burnout. It's not like, oh, I can only use it 4 times throughout the entire group stage. No, it's just it's a stamina thing. By the time they go into their next game, their stamina is going to be recharged. It's a burnout in terms of the scope of the game, but show them using it, especially Karasu. Especially him of all the characters, he should be shown with it. If the core line is Isagi, Karasu, and Aiku, when he made the interception before Bachata's goal in 3.14.1, that's when they should have shown him using it.
Exactly. It's like the same thing with Predator Eye and Rin. Having Rin actually being shown using Predator Eye is very important to establish that it's a thing that he can do. It
establishes that's the bar. Using these specific vision abilities, that's the bar you need to be at. That is the bar. If you have these abilities, you gotta use them. Because it's not like the Magnus, right? Where if Kaiser comes back and he doesn't want to hint that he can do it without having the ball stationary, where he can just do it whenever, that's a weapon you want to hide. But Metavision isn't like a physical thing. It's a mental thing. It's how well you can read the field. To other people, they're just gonna think, oh, you have Metavision, or you just read the field very well. And if Nigeria does have mid-vision, they're just going to think, oh, you can read the field really well, which they already know because they've established that Karasu, Isagi, and Aiku are holding down the main line.
Speaking of...
I honestly, I just think it's spoon-feeding. I like OP's example of One Piece. We know cats have the haki. We don't need to see it. In the past, right? When someone was using observation haki, there used to be like a little exclamation mark next to their heads. We don't need to see that anymore, but we know that
we still see it. We still see it. In Wano, Luffy used observation haki and it still had the same kind of effect. He used it at the beginning of Wano.
But it's not consistent because they use observation haki in other instances.
What about like Future Sight? Are you telling me that because Future Sight is so well known that we should just not call attention to it? Because
even Future
Luffy still is drawn with a specific effect when he uses it. Same with Shanks, same with Kaido. When they used Future Sight, it was drawn with a specific effect, even already establishing that they have it. The purpose of that, when they show it, is to show that that's the level they're competing at now. That's the level. So showing Metavision at least once from every character that has it, establishes that this is their new level. This is where they're at currently now, and that's who they should be. Like, okay, Lexi also brings in Conqueror's Haki. We always see the Conqueror's Haki effect.
Yeah,
what's the purpose of it?
That's a new type of Haki. Watch further.
Conqueror's Haki's not.
Watch further down the line.
Conqueror's Haki was introduced before every other kind. Conqueror's Haki was the first kind of Haki.
There'll be less emphasis on all of these archetypes because you're gonna assume that you're gonna have to know that these cats already are using it.
But that's the point.
Yeah,
You show it though. They still show
They
it.
don't always get
Here's the
shown.
thing.
They show it once. They show it once.
Lexio's comment isn't even actually true. It's not always shown because I don't want to spoil, but there's a character that always has it out that's not shown every single time.
Who?
Yeah.
Tell me. Type in the
Zoro.
chat.
Oh, sorry.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. It's literally
Yeah,
a plot point of the actual
He does.
story. He's leaking it 100% of the time.
Yeah.
When was it? When?
The point of this debate.
Literally, okay. I can pull up the chapter.
Do you mean when he used it on Onigashima? When he subconsciously used it?
He's constantly leaking it. That's what it's stated word for word.
Someone said.
That's stated word for word.
No, he's not.
Obie, did your mic quality get better?
Yeah, it actually got way better.
Oh, mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just turned it down.
Anyways, since we have a pause in the thing, I want to bring attention to something we discussed earlier. Arrow, what do you think of the theory of Kuso secretly having Metavision? And because we talked about that, like because Kuso so far has just not been super good. Like every single time he's gotten blocked, he's done something. But I think Nakeem brought it up. He's like, Kuso needs to secretly have Metavision and then be like, just kidding, and then locks the heck in. Do you think that's a possibility, or do you think that's just like
actually blinding him?
No, I think you think if he takes off the goggles, he'll use it.
Yeah, takes off the
that's
goggles.
What he said.
Yo, my bad. Takes off his contacts to reveal the Sharingan.
The Sharingan's like opposite of Metavision. It makes you go blind. It is the Yuki Miya of Naruto.
Yeah, I sent it in Discord. The Raito stream chat.
Is this in Elbaf? Because I haven't read Elbaf yet.
It's somewhere.
That's Yuno. No, that is like Wano.
Also, I think we lost Raito.
Yeah, well, you're also taking from Gabon, the guy. This is also Gabon, who was on the Pirate King's crew. Like, the bar is kind of like high. That's already a high skill, high analysis person. Like,
also, I do just want to say that currently the 8th clear team is watching One Piece together, so I'm trying to just zone out this whole debate.
Yeah,
because I've never seen it.
Yeah, but also the whole thing, show it once and then you cannot show it again, because then you've just established, oh, this is the level they're at right now. Because it also gives upskill to Nigeria. They're competing against a Blue Lock who's full bases Metavision. It makes them feel like a team that should be on the world-class stage.
Wait, Errol. It could be though that the ones that are being shown to use it right now are at a higher level than the ones that have not been shown to use it right now.
What the fuck kind of point is that?
I mean, Karasu could have been using.
Wait, guys, wait,
Leo.
So you said show that their base level is the Metavision, so show them using it. So maybe the ones that have not been shown to use it yet, their base level isn't there.
Hiyori's is. Hiyori's Metavision and
But
Uber's
we've not seen
we've
seen Hiyori. We've seen Hiyori one time.
Metavision Hiyori was comparable to Uber's Isagi.
We've seen Hiyori one time
in that game.
Like,
they were
we've not seen enough of Hiyori.
Field perception feat in the manga, and you.
Hiyori is one of the only two people to stop an unpredictable genius type play.
I'm not talking about any of that. I'm saying we've only seen Hiyori like one time.
You said that that's not their base. You're telling me you think Aiku's Metavision is superior to Hiyori?
Aiku's had Metavision from the U20 match.
That doesn't mean shit. Raio's had it since Manshine.
Yeah, and Aiku needed it to be him. Hiyori didn't need the explanation. Hiyori knew what it was.
Hiyori had it. Hiyori knew how to use it instinctively.
Like I think the thing is, having the Metavision be shown, yes, I think that's the best situation for all of us. But
I don't know why we know they've got it. I don't get why we need to.
Yeah, you need to show that's the new base.
Why?
Why
it would be nice. It would be nice.
The level they're at right now.
It's not necessary.
Because
it's nice, but not necessary.
That to happen. That's all. Like, why does it need to be shown?
To show that's the level that the current Blue Lock is at.
But this is my point. Maybe
Kaiser didn't use it.
Kaiser used Metavision in every single game he participated in after he had it.
No,
No,
what I'm
he
saying
he
is
did
we
it
don't see the
constantly.
pattern in his eyes. We just see that
He
he's running into
used it
position
way
like
less than
But
he's
you've at
random
used.
least
spots.
seen that he's using it or
He
have
he
statements saying that
Yeah,
he
yeah,
is
he
using
used it
it.
way less than
yeah.
Isagi did though.
That's the
Yeah.
difference. We have
The
nothing from these other blue lockers. We have no visuals and we have no
yeah.
statement.
But we know
The,
we're acting like we don't know if they've got it anymore.
Yeah.
We
People
do
get
know
it
they
here's the
have
thing.
it,
Here's the
but we
thing.
don't know why they're not using it, is the
Here's the
thing.
thing.
because
It's
the
best to
level
We
be
is
don't.
high enough
wait,
for
wait,
them
wait, wait, wait.
to
Give me a
have
second.
Sounds like the most
It's
appropriate.
it's best to be shown in situations where the ability is relevant to the actual situation.
yeah.
Like my favorite example of this is Kaiser when he's approaching up the field and then Sendo comes off like it's in the Ubers match when
Yes.
he before the
Yeah.
bicycle kick when
He
Sendo
launched,
comes
he taps
into
into the
thing.
air. Yeah.
Yeah, he uses Metavision to
Okay,
see him. That's the best thing.
here's a great play, right? Where is it used? Okay, let's take a look at chapter 313, where Hiyori receives the ball off of Karasu's pass, right? Or better yet, let's start it all the way at the beginning. Nico moves in to block Onazi's shot. It would have been perfect for that because Metavision identifies the weakest point in a current play. So he would have seen, okay, there is a gap here. So the best place for me to move into right here, right where their gap is. How he moved in is exactly how Metavision should be used because we saw the exact same thing with Hiyori doing it to Rain after Kaiser and Isagi failed to stop him. He saw, wow, their presses aren't going to do anything. He's still going to get a shot off. Let me move into the exact spot that would stop it. That's what Nico did there. He should have been shown using Metavision there. Then let's go later into the chapter where Karasu feeds the ball up to Hiyori. Hiyori receives the pass and weaves across around two defenders and passes it straight to Rain in a way that he could do a seamless dribble around two more players. That's for Metavision because that is exactly how he used it in the Ubers game. He determined where everyone's placements are and where the best way and the best position and how to cross the ball to Isagi. So that's what he did right here. Show him using it one time. Let's go later into
Hiyori's
chapter
also
300.
shown
I mean,
a
we've seen
better
those
feat
feats from
than
those
that
players
without
without
Metavision. The
Metavision
alley,
as
Yeah,
well.
but
the
even
alley
then,
cross wasn't a Metavision pass, and it was a
yeah, it was.
higher level
It was a
than that.
Metavision. It was a Metavision cross.
No,
Which one?
Yeah, Alley cross.
the
Let's
one
go.
in Ubers.
Oh, Alicross was reflective, no?
Yeah.
Or was it both?
Alley cross was
Yeah,
both.
it was reflective.
Alley cross was both.
Was it actually? Oh, I actually want to
Yeah.
see this.
Go to Alley. Go to
I
here.
mean, no, but
I'll put in the
Fury
chat.
was still using Metavision after he sent the pass. It was still showing in
He
his
was still
eyes.
showing it. Here, I'll send in the
Oh
general chat.
yeah,
There you
the
go.
close up. Yeah, I remember now.
It showed him reflexively turning
Yeah,
and then hitting the cross, but he was using Metavision in the process. The fact that they showed it
Metavision.
with essentially a few panels of each other. Because you show the reflex eyes and then you show his Metavision. Because the Metavision means nothing if he turned it on after. What purpose is that? The purpose is that he turns it on while he's making the pass. So he used it there. Great. That's another example of where you would use Metavision for a pass. Let's go to chapter 314.1, where Kuzo does a backheel pass to Onazi, and Karasu sees it. How is that any different than what Isagi did to Nagi in the very first play? Sure, Nagi wasn't passing the ball and was still just recontrolling it, but the fact that Isagi was able to see the meta point because someone wasn't able, because there was a weak point in that play, and he moved into that play to intercept the pass, that's exactly what Karasu did there. The ball was in the air. It was a loose ball that had no control. He moved in to get it. Metavision should have been shown there. Rayo's iffy because the only time we've ever seen Rayo use oh no, actually he's used it a couple times. We saw him use it mostly in the Manshine game. But when feeding a pass to Nagi, I think it was 189, I believe the pass was, or the play was. We saw him using Metavision when linking up with Nagi when they both entered their flow states, right? When Nagi did the back pass to Rayo, Rayo used it to determine exactly where to pass the ball. Same thing as it's the same thing as Hiyori, but I can understand Rayo really hasn't had a passing moment. I would have even preferred if he used Metavision while dribbling up the field to kind of identify exactly where he should have shot the 44 Panther snipe.
But he was under Bachelor influence.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm saying it's fine to not show him use it there. But the point I'm making is every other Metavision user had a chance and a perfect moment to be shown using Metavision because the plays that they're doing accounts for exactly how they use Metavision. And if you're showing it for the other characters, why are you not showing it for them? If you're showing it for Aiku, who's only used it in circumstances where he doesn't even have possession of the ball, what? The whole purpose of Aiku using Metavision before was able to predict and stop people. That's how he used his Metavision before, and now he doesn't do that. Now he's just using it in a context that's completely different from how he used to use it. So you're showing Aiku use Metavision in a context that's completely different from how he used to, but all these other characters that would use Metavision in the context that they're currently displaying don't have it. Makes no sense to me. Just show it once and determine that's the new level they're at. That's all you need to do. It's not a hard thing. You draw in a few lines, send it off. And it gives so much more importance to the character because it shows this is the new level. If you want to play against Blue Lock, you want to play on the world stage, you gotta have a world-class vision.
Yeah, it's definitely something that like Kaneshiro and Nomura should be more active on, because we had situations like even the Blue Lock manga where Pablo goes from no pattern to pattern in episode Nagi, and it's just like I do agree that they should be more consistent with it, and they genuinely should. I also just think it's not that.
I think that Pablo point is even more evidence to show that it should be that pro players, no matter their circumstances, will be using Metavision 24/7. With Pablo, we didn't even get when we first saw him in the main manga, we didn't even get an introduction to Isagi's Metavision then. But in episode Nagi, we have a full concept of it, and this point solidifies that no matter your level, you're using Metavision. You should be using it because Pablo was using it against the Nagi's team in the second selection. He was still using it to show this is the level you need to be at if you want to play on the world stage. That's what that message is pushing out by that display. And that's what they should be embodying in this game, but they're not. Like in the France game, I'll be even more pissed if we go in and we don't see anyone aside from Isagi using Metavision. If every other player on that team who has Metavision isn't constantly using it against France, that's bullshit.
Can't wait for Charles not to be shown using it.
I would rather Charles is different because Charles, I see him using that passing vision way more, and I'm totally fine with that. But it's a matter of you have a vision ability, use it.